Hello everybody, me and the co-pilot here today. The co-pilot is going to leave us though because I have to yell at Chris and swear because the topic is a good one. I just wanted you all go, oh, and you all think that like I have a heart or something. So, and she's done being the co-pilot. Fuck it, she's out of here. Here, I'll put her back. All right, you go over there and you go play. Anyway. We got a video request, and if you have video requests, you can always go to assholeconsulting.com, where we don't just do video requests, we also do consulting on any topic that you're willing to pay for. We get an email from, who is it from? Nick. Nick writes, "Hey asshole, I'm on my way to work this morning. I was listening to the radio, and I heard this story about Harvard law students petitioning for their final exams to be delayed because they were too busy protesting the study. Having lived in the Boston area for a few years now, it pretty much reinforced everything I already thought about Harvard students. Could you please do a video or devote part of your next podcast to ripping these pampered, self-entitled future leaders of the free world a new one? Thank you." And here's the article for reference. And I had to double check. I'm going to double check it again. I thought it was Columbia, but it looks like that there. It's Harvard. So let me explain to you why these nincompoops end up in positions of power. Perhaps in the olden day, at one point in time, the Ivy League, the Harvards, the Yales, the Princetons, the Columbias, all that, even Cornell, I guess, is Ivy League. It was based on merit. Wow. It was based on achievement and potential. Today, it has nothing to do with that. It is all done. It's all about networking and who you know and connections and cronyism and corruption. That's it. That's all it is. You look at what's her name? Fucking Chelsea Clinton. She was a fucking hedge manager at the age of 26. Yeah, fuck you. All right. So when you look at the Harvard and all these other things, so how the heck why did they? Because the sad truth is, that's what's demanded in the labor market. See, in corporate America and especially government, it's not about excellence, achievement, merit, discipline, being the best, being the pinnacle, being the top. It has nothing to do with it. It all has to do with ass-kissing, brown-nosing, sucking cock, and network. That's all it is. It's Game of Thrones stuff. And these people, not only are they primarily cock-sucking, brown-nosing, ass-kissing bastards, they also got connections for their family and money. And so when you go, and they even several people I know went to Harvard, they're like, we don't go for the education, it's for the connections. That's what it is. And that's what's sadly in demand, especially in government and large corporations, stuff like that. So that explains the paradox where they're fucking stupid as hell in the real world. And you're like, how the fuck, who hires from these? What the hell? It has nothing to do with them personally. It's their connections and the fact they're willing to sell their soul. Now, a lot of people will criticize me and say, well, that's just because you didn't succeed in banking, da-da-da-da-da. And it's like, no, it doesn't have to deal with anything like that. I'm quite confident in my ability, especially given how I've predicted everything. I'm an outstanding economist, so that's not why I criticize, it's not out of envy. The real reason is because inevitably you can't get by on ass-kissing and brown-nosing and cock-sucking. You got to produce something of value. And all I have to do is point out to who's been behind and responsible for every major crisis we've ever had. In the past, especially since I've been alive. .com, investment banking scum who couldn't do real math and didn't understand technology, just throwing money at tech guys. Then there's the housing bubble. I think we're all familiar with that one. And then more recently, especially since the anti-American we elected into office has driven up the national debt, we got the government treasury bubble. Or quantitative easing bubble, whatever you want to call it. These problems and their horrible consequences that came forth, the recessions and people's standards of living and people committing suicide because they lost their job, is precisely because these MBA, elite, top-notch Ivy League, Harvard, Yale, Princeton cocksuckers were in charge of the economy. They were at the helm. They were the captains of the large vessels and the ships. And they ran it right into the fucking ground. And whoa, how do you know that? Who are the two current and the last president we had? Who were they? Were Obama and Bush. And they're both Harvard graduates. And they're both fucking morons. So it's not out of gel. I'm going to immediately strike that one out, because if you look at who's responsible for the major problems, it's people from the Ivy League. Those are the ones that are responsible for all of our major government, finance, banking, economic-related problems, right? But again, they got into positions of power because we no longer reward production, meritocracy, hard work, and excellence. We award I'll give you some money. Here's some money. Here's more money. Fuck Whitey. And that's basically it. And I had one other point. What was my other point? Oh, and here's the sad thing. I know you want to pick on them, and they deserve picking on because they're acting like a bunch of whiny cunts. Sadly, they still are the best in some regards. You do have to be smarter. You do have to score a higher SAT. You do need a higher IQ. You do need more. You do need to be better than average to get into these schools, which makes all the other schools even worse. I mean, I taught at the bottom of a barrel at a for-profit, like a fly-by-night school, and they're dumber than fuck. I don't know who I'd have to choose. Someone incredibly stupid but maybe has morality to them, or someone who is incredibly competent but is amoral. I don't know what, I mean, those are your choices. And then all the other schools fall in between. But by and large, the non-Ivy League schools, they're just Ivy League schools, but dumber and even more prone to leftist socialist brainwashing and poppycock. They just don't simply have the financial and familial connections that most people in the Ivy League do. So, I mean, we can slam on the Ivy League all we want. The sad news is it's all of academia. It's all of it. And it gets, you have that same idiotic leftist amoralism down the further you go, but they're even less intelligent. I mean, honest to God, go to a Big Ten school. I mean, I used to think I was smart because I graduated, high GPA. I just realized everyone else was a fucking moron. That's pretty much all it was. Anyway, so that's it. That's my slam on the Ivy League preppy fuckers who tie their cardigans, and Thaddeus and Chip. And don't let it get you down. In the end, no one likes them anyway. I mean, that's the whole. No one likes them. It just. I know they can make all the money and they get the caviar like the president does. But God Almighty, I don't know any of them are happy. I mean, look at Hillary Clinton. You think she's happy? I mean, my husband was getting blowjobs in the Oval Office. I almost said oral. No, we're still together, so I can run for that. Woman has stuck with a philanderer just so she could be president of the United States for all these decades. Don't worry, go to trade school. That's where the real guys are. Anyway, toodles.